So emotionally, I kept thinking back to that conference I attended right before I was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, about listening to or learning the language of revelation and knowing my body. Every time my shunt failed from day one of diagnosis, I knew something was wrong. And as we practiced the whole shunt failure process, I knew very specifically what was wrong. And based on things I had studied, things that I knew about my own body, and the Spirit talking to me, I knew exactly what was going on. And when someone would say, oh, well, no, I don't think that's it, I'm like, that's cute that you think that, but that's what's going on with my body, I promise. I'm a very, very big believer in listening to your body and your gut, because 9 times out of 10, like the pediatric neurosurgeons say, you are right. One of my favorite authors to read in all of this it's from Neil A. Maxwell, who suffered crazy body issues, physical problems, especially in his later years of life when he had leukemia. So when he talks about physical pain and how to overcome it, I tend to pay close attention to what he says. But he said, we can learn that at the center of our agency is our freedom to form a healthy attitude toward whatever circumstances we are placed in. And I think more than anything, any surgery, any health professional that worked with me, that healthy attitude was the best thing that I did for me, for my husband and I, for our children, our family, our friends, neighbors. It's hard, and we acknowledge that it was hard. 11 surgeries in a year, and it spanned 2 school years for my kids. That can hit everybody hard. And I'm very grateful that I surrounded myself with great people, but also good literature and reading and journaling, anything to keep my mental state in a healthy place. I just had to, because the second you get so negative, it affects not just your emotional part of your body, but the physical and the spiritual. And I wanted to keep those in check. My bishop would often text me, how are you doing today? I'm like, emotionally, spiritually, I'm good, Bishop. Physically, this sucks. Like, who deals with this all the time? I'm like, this is hard. It's a hard day. It's, the barometer's down or up or wherever I was. My shunt is over draining or under draining. But I know that, and it's not a question. I'm grateful for that. And just finding the silver lining while still acknowledging, yeah, I have problems. There are some serious physical problems going on. But as long as I kept my spiritual and emotional body in check and in a healthy place, it was so much easier to deal with the physical. And it still is, because with this shunt that's a year old, it's not easy. And there are storms that blow through, literal storms. The barometric pressure has to drop for that. And that extreme in barometer and atmospheric pressure affects my brain, as it does any patient with any ailment that is fluid-based. It affects the body in so many ways, but especially hydrocephalus patients, because we have a shunt, and if it's working, it only opens at that one pressure, whatever it's set at, whether you want it to or not. And that can get very annoying and frustrating, and it's just up and down, up and down. I wrote a year ago in May, just 1 week of symptoms in my journal. Last night, lightning and thunder, pouring rain, horrible headache and nausea. The next day, I am so done with the low barometric pressure. Holy overdraining Batman. And Wednesday, all I could do yesterday afternoon was wallow in misery in my bed. I was overdraining so badly. Today, it wasn't fun, but it wasn't as bad or painful as yesterday. The pain got pretty bad from 3 to 6 p.m. And by 9 p.m., the barometric pressure finally rose above 30, and I could visit with my sister who flew in from California. The next day, barometric pressure is above 30. I feel great. Well, no headache and super exhausted, but almost zero pain. Happy face. Saturday, the incision in the top of my head is very painful. Usually it's just a constant dull ache, but at times it could be sharp and throbbing. I can't even touch it because it hurts so badly. Later that afternoon, there's a new little pimple-sized bump on the shunt. It feels like a joint maybe, whatever connects the shunt to the catheter, ? But that's where it's the most painful. And it was just a few days later, horribly painful day, super low barometric pressure. Sometimes I think my headaches are bad, but then they get worse and it's beyond awful. And the day after that was Sarah's 11th birthday, my oldest child. Yay, here's what we're doing. Meet her for lunch, birthday lunch. Suck it up and go. I mean, as a mom, it's horrible pressure. The barometric pressure is low, but it's Sarah's birthday. And she wants to have birthday lunch with you in the school's cafeteria. She wanted Kneader's sandwich, bacon, turkey, avocado sandwich with a tropical smoothie. So suck it up and go is what I wrote. How do you do it? You just have to. But the question I'm often asked is that, how do you do it? How do you do life as a mom and well, you take it minute by minute. I love the things where I write, feeling great this morning, and then a couple hours later, yeah, no. It was horrible. Afternoon storm rolled in. I was barfing. What's going on? But it was that next week, so a week after Sarah's birthday, where they found the infection. And that little pimple-sized knob I found on the shunt was actually the shunt breaking through the skin, which is a problem because it wasn't healing correctly. Thus the infection, thus waking up to my infectious disease doctor standing over me trying to figure out how do you react to these antibiotics? What's going on? And then 4 more brain surgeries because that one infection. Yeah, it's, how do you do it? You just do it. And you just go day by day by day. And hour by hour, sometimes minute by minute. You just clasp onto whatever degree of sanity you can and hope that that gets you through it.